Do you ever feel like life keeps moving, but your heart is still searching for something it cannot name? And have you noticed how the harder you try to force peace, the more it slips away? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight I want to sit with you in a calm human way and walk through Buddhism for beginners in a style that feels plain, simple, and alive. Not as a textbook, not as a performance, not as a debate. More like a story you can carry into your day and into your night. Here are the two ideas I want you to hold gently as we begin. First, Buddhism is less about adopting a label and more about learning how the mind makes suffering and how the mind can release suffering. Second, the path is not built from perfect beliefs. It is built from small, repeated practices that grow wisdom, compassion, and steadiness over time. Let me start with a scene. A person named Maya is standing at a kitchen sink late at night. The house is quiet, the dishes are half done, the light above the sink is a soft circle in the dark. Maya is not in crisis in an obvious way, but inside there is a constant feeling like carrying a bag that is never put down. Worry about family, worry about health, worry about money, worry about whether she is doing life correctly. Sometimes the worry is loud. Sometimes it is just a dull pressure that follows her everywhere. Maya tries to fix it the way most of us do. She makes plans, she tries to control outcomes, she scrolls for advice, she distracts herself, she tells herself to be grateful. But the pressure always returns. And the most exhausting part is that she does not even know what she is chasing. She just knows she wants to feel okay inside her own life. One day she meets an older neighbor named Samche. Samche is not flashy. He does not speak like a motivational speaker. He moves slowly, but with a kind of ease that feels rare. Maya asks him how he stays so calm. Samche smiles and says, "I do not always stay calm, I just learned how to stop feeding the fire." Maya laughs because she thinks he is joking. But Samche is serious. He says, "Do you want to take a walk?" They walk to a small park nearby. There is a bench under a tree. Birds hop near the grass. Cars pass far away like a soft river of sound. Samche says Buddhism begins with a simple honesty. Life includes suffering. Not suffering as in every moment is miserable. Suffering as in even good moments contain vulnerability. Things change. Bodies change. People leave. Plans break. The mind wants certainty, but reality offers movement. Maya hears this and feels two opposite reactions. One part of her feels sad. Another part feels relieved. Because finally someone is not pretending life is perfectly controllable. Samche says this is the first step, not optimism, not pessimism, just truth. Then he says there is more. Suffering has causes. If you understand the causes, you can change the pattern. And if you change the pattern, you can find freedom even while life remains uncertain. Maya asks, what are the causes? Samche looks at the tree leaves moving and says the main cause is clinging. The mind clings to what it likes. The mind pushes away what it dislikes. The mind builds a story of me and mine. Then it tries to protect that story like it is a solid thing. But the story is always threatened because everything changes. Maya says, "I do not understand." Samche says, "Let us make it plain. Think of a moment you were happy." Maya thinks of a day at the beach with friends. Samche says, "While you were happy, did part of you also think, I wish this could last?" Maya nods. Samche says that wish is not wrong, but if it tightens into demand, it becomes suffering. Because the beach day ends. The sun sets. Friends go home. The mind then compares the present to the past and says now is not enough. That comparison is suffering. Then Samche says, think of a moment you were upset. Maya remembers an argument with a family member. Samche says, did you want that moment to be different? Maya says, of course. Samche says again, the wish is natural, But when the mind refuses, the reality of what happened, it keeps fighting after the moment ends. It replays it. It rewrites it. It tries to win. And the replay becomes suffering. Maya sits quietly. This feels painfully familiar. Samche says Buddhism is a training in letting reality be what it is without letting the heart become bitter. It is learning to respond wisely instead of reacting blindly. Wisdom and compassion work together. Wisdom sees clearly. Compassion keeps the heart kind while seeing clearly. Maya asks, where do I begin? Samche says begin where you already are. With the breath, with the body, with the present moment. Maya thinks this sounds too small. Her problems feel huge. Samche says the mind is like a wild horse. You do not calm a wild horse by yelling at it. You calm it by steady, gentle, repeated contact. The breath is that contact. Samche teaches Maya to sit for a few minutes each day, not hours, just a few minutes. He tells her to feel the breath at the nose or the chest or the belly, to notice when the mind wanders, to return without punishment. Again and again, Maya tries it that night. She sits on a chair. She closes her eyes. Within seconds, her mind produces a list. Work, family, errands, future, fear, old regrets. She tries to push the thoughts away and the thoughts become louder. She opens her eyes, irritated. The next day she tells Samche meditation does not work for me. Samche laughs softly and says that is meditation working because you just noticed how your mind behaves. Most people never notice. They just obey the mind all day and call it normal. Samche says do not try to force silence. Instead, practice recognition. When a thought appears, simply no thought. When worry appears, no worry. When planning appears, no planning. Then return to breath. Maya asks, how do I return without getting mad? Samche says, add kindness. Kindness is not a bonus feature. Kindness is essential. Without kindness, mindful sins becomes harsh. And harshness is just another form of suffering. So Maya tries again. She sits. A worry arises. She says gently worry. She returns to breath. Another worry arises. She says gently worry. She returns. It is not peaceful, but it is different. It feels like she has a small space between her and the storm. Over weeks, the space grows, not in a magical way, in a practical way. She begins to see that thoughts are events, not commands. Feelings are waves, not permanent identities. She begins to see that she has been living inside mental movies without realizing they were movies. Samche then introduces another basic teaching. He says we suffer not only because of pain, but because of misunderstanding. We misunderstand who we are. We think the self is a fixed, solid thing. But when you look closely, the self is a flow. Sensations arise and pass. Thoughts arise and pass. Moods arise and pass. Even the sense of identity changes depending on context. The self is more like a river than a statue. Maya is unsure about this. She says, but I feel like me. Samche says yes, and that feeling is also a changing experience. Not nothing, not meaningless, just not fixed. Samche gives her an example. He says, think of yourself at 10 years old. Then think of yourself now. Same name maybe, but different body, different beliefs, different fears, different skills. If the self were fixed, it would not change. Yet you have changed many times. So the self is real as an experience, but not solid as a permanent object. Maya sits with this. Something loosens. She realizes a lot of her anxiety comes from trying to protect a fixed version of herself. A version that always has it together. A version that never fails. A version that is always loved. But that version is a fantasy statue, and protecting it is exhausting. Samche says Buddhism is not telling you to erase your personality. It is telling you to stop building a prison out of identity. When identity becomes rigid, you suffer. When identity becomes flexible, you gain freedom. Maya asks, what about karma? She has heard the word and worries. It means punishment. Samche says karma is simpler than people think. It is cause and effect shaped by intention. When you act with greed, hatred, or confusion, you plant seeds of suffering. When you act with generosity, kindness, and clarity, you plant seeds of peace. Not because the universe is keeping a scoreboard, but because actions shape the mind and the world. He explains it in a plain example. If you speak harshly, you strengthen harshness in yourself and you create fear or anger in others. That fear and anger returns as conflict. If you speak kindly, you strengthen kindness in yourself and you create trust in others. That trust returns as support. This is karma in daily life. Maya remembers a time she snapped at her sister. The guilt lasted for days. Samche says the guilt itself is also a seed. It can become wisdom if you use it to choose differently next time. Or it can become self-hate if you use it to attack yourself. Buddhism encourages remorse without self-hatred. Remorse says, I see what happened and I want to grow. Self-hatred says, I am bad and I cannot change. Remorse leads to practice. Self-hatred leads to despair. Maya feels seen. She has carried self-hate quietly for years, not dramatic, just a constant inner criticism. She thought it kept her improving, but it mostly kept her tense. Samche teaches her a practice of compassion toward herself. He says, place a hand on your heart and say, may I be well. May I be peaceful. May I learn to be kind. At first, Maya feels silly, but the more she tries, the more she realizes her heart has been starving for gentleness. Samche then says compassion is not only for you. It must expand outward, because clinging to self is a main source of suffering. When you widen your care, you loosen the grip of self-centered fear. Maya starts to practice wishing well for others, for her family, for strangers, for people who annoy her. This last one is hardest, but she tries. Something unexpected happens. She becomes less reactive, not because people become perfect, but because her heart becomes larger than her irritation. Samche also talks about the middle way. He says many beginners think Buddhism is about extreme denial, but the Buddha taught a middle way between indulgence and harsh self-torture. That means you can enjoy life without clinging. You can take care of your body without making it a god. You can have goals without making them a source of identity. You can rest without guilt. You can work without obsession. Maya begins to see how her mind swings between extremes. She either tries to control everything or she collapses. She either judges herself harshly or she gives up. The middle way offers a stable path, not perfect, but steady. Samche introduces the idea of the Eightfold Path in a simple living way. He does not list it like a chart. He says think of training in 3 areas: wise understanding, ethical living, and mental discipline. Wise understanding means seeing impermanence and cause and effect. Ethical living means speaking and acting in ways that reduce harm. Mental discipline means training attention through mindfulness and meditation. Maya likes that it feels practical. She can test it. She starts with speech. She notices how often she speaks from tension. She interrupts. She complains. She tries to prove she is right. She begins to pause before speaking. She asks, is what I am about to say true, necessary, and kind? Sometimes she still fails, but she fails with awareness. And awareness is progress. She also begins to look at her consumption, not just food, but media, arguments, negativity. She realizes that what she consumes shapes her mind. If she watches fear all day, her mind becomes fearful. If she listens to calm teachings, her mind becomes calmer. This is also karma, seeds in the mind. Maya begins to protect her evenings. She turns off harsh noise earlier. She takes a slow walk. She sits for a few minutes. She breathes. She notices the mind still worries, but she is learning not to obey every worry. One night, a difficult event happens. Her job becomes uncertain. A rumor spreads about layoffs. Her mind wants to panic. She notices the panic. Her chest tightens. Her stomach drops. She feels heat in the face. Normally she would spiral, but now she tries something new. She says silently, fear is here. She breathes. She says, I do not have to solve the whole future tonight. She writes down practical steps for tomorrow. Then she stops. She returns to breath. She repeats, may I be steady. May I respond wisely. May I be kind to myself. She still feels anxious, but the anxiety no longer owns her. Samche tells her this is the real victory, not the absence of fear, but freedom inside fear. Weeks later, Maya visits Samche and says, I still suffer sometimes. Samche smiles and says, of course. The goal is not to become a stone. The goal is to become awake. Awake means you notice suffering early. You notice clinging early. You soften early. You choose a wiser response earlier. Maya asks about awakening. She imagines lightning and mystical visions. Samche says awakening begins in ordinary moments. It is the moment you notice you are lost in a story and you return to the present. It is the moment you choose compassion instead of revenge. It is the moment you accept impermanence instead of demanding life stay the same. These moments are small, but they change your destiny because they change your habits. Maya asks, what about destiny? Samche says destiny is not only what happens to you, it is also what you cultivate in response. Two people can face the same event and create different inner worlds. The event is one part. The response is another part. Karma lives in response. Now the story widens. Maya begins to share what she is learning with her mother. Her mother is older and has chronic pain. Her mother often says life is unfair. Maya does not argue. She sits with her mother and breathes together for a minute. She says, let us not fight the moment. Let us care for it. Her mother is skeptical, but she likes the warmth. She likes the company. Over time, her mother begins to complain less, not because pain disappears, but because she feels less alone in it. Maya sees a major lesson here. Compassion is not always fixing. It is often presence, a steady presence that says you are not alone. This is deeply Buddhist, because Buddhism teaches that suffering grows in isolation, and it's often in connection, not connection that depends on controlling others, but connection that comes from shared humanity. Maya also notices something about anger. She has always believed anger is power, but she sees anger often hides fear and hurt. When she is mindful, she can see anger arise before it explodes. She feels heat. She feels tightening. She feels the urge to attack. She pauses. She breathes. She asks, what am I really needing? Often she needs respect. Often she needs rest. Often she needs to feel safe. When she meets the real need, the anger loses fuel. Samche teaches her that anger is like holding a burning coal to throw at someone else. You get burned first. So the practice is not suppression. It is understanding. It is seeing anger as a condition arising, then choosing not to feed it. Maya tests this at work. A colleague criticizes her unfairly. Her mind wants to defend aggressively. She notices the surge. She takes one breath. She speaks calmly. She asks clarifying questions. She sets a boundary without insult. Later, she is surprised. The situation resolves faster, and she feels less drained. This becomes proof that Buddhist practice is not abstract. It changes outcomes because it changes your energy. Samche also talks about craving. He says craving is not only addiction to substances. It is the mind constantly reaching for something to complete itself. Approval, success, comfort, certainty. Craving says, when I get that, then I will be okay. But then you get it, and the mind moves the target. Craving never ends because it is a habit of lack. Maya realizes she has been living under the rule of when I finish this project, then I will rest. When people respect me, then I will feel secure. When my body feels better, then I will be happy. Samche says the practice is to live now while still taking wise steps for tomorrow. This is the middle way again. Plan without obsession. Care without clinging. Maya begins to practice gratitude in a grounded way, not as denial, but as training attention to see what is present. She notices the warmth of water, the taste of simple food, the sound of rain, the quiet support of a friend. She notices that these things were always there, but her mind was too busy chasing future safety. Gratitude becomes another form of wisdom. It reveals that life contains goodness, even amid uncertainty. Samche also speaks about death. Maya becomes uncomfortable, but Samche says beginners need a gentle, honest relationship with death because fear of death drives much clinging. He says contemplation of impermanence is not meant to make you gloomy. It is meant to make you awake. When you remember life is not guaranteed, you waste less time on hatred. You forgive sooner. You love more directly. You practice more sincerely. Maya notices this in her own behavior. She starts calling her sister more often, not to discuss problems, just to connect. She starts saying thank you more often. She starts apologizing sooner when she is wrong. This is karma shaping the heart. One evening, Maya and Samche it again under the tree. Maya says, I still do not know if I believe everything about Buddhism. Samche smiles and says, you do not need to believe everything. Buddhism is not asking for blind belief. It invites investigation. Try the practices. See what reduces suffering. See what increases compassion. Keep what is helpful. Drop what is not, but always keep sincerity. Maya likes this. It feels respectful. It feels adult. Samche tells her one last story. A student asked a teacher how to cross a river. The teacher pointed to a boat. The student crossed. Then the student lifted the boat onto his head and kept carrying it. The teacher laughed and said, the boat is for crossing, not for carrying. Samche says, teachings are like boats. Use them to cross suffering. Do not carry them as identity. Do not use them to judge others. Use them to become kinder and freer. Maya feels a deep relief because she has always feared spiritual paths would demand she become someone else. But this path is about becoming more fully human, more awake, more compassionate, more wise. Now let me bring the camera closer to you. If you are a beginner, you might feel overwhelmed by words like nirvana, emptiness, karma, meditation precepts. So let us keep it plain. Start with 1 minute of breathing each day. Notice the mind wander. Return. Do it with kindness. Then add 1 act of compassion each day, a small one, a sincere one, and add 1 moment of wisdom each day, a moment where you remember impermanence and choose not to claim. That is enough to begin. Over time, these small steps shape a new inner world. I want to share another story to deepen this. A man named Harold is in his late 60s. He is not religious. He is tired of anxiety. He starts listening to calm Buddhist talks at night. At first, he treats it like background noise. But one phrase stays with him. You do not have to believe every thought. Harold begins to notice his mind tells him stories all day. People are judging me. Something bad will happen. I am too old. I missed my chance. He notices these are thoughts, not facts. He tries a simple technique. When a thought appears, he asks, is this true right now in this moment? Often the answer is no. He is sitting safely in a chair, breathing. Nothing is actually happening except thinking. This simple question reduces his suffering because it breaks the trance. Harold then begins to practice loving kindness in the morning. He says, may I be peaceful, may I be patient. He feels foolish, but he continues. After a month, he notices he yells less in traffic. He speaks more gently with his partner. He sleeps a bit better, not because life is perfect, but because his heart is less hostile toward itself. That is Buddhism for beginners. Not a costume, not a debate, a training that changes how you meet each moment. Now a deeper layer. Many people think Buddhism is only about calm, but Buddhism is also about courage, because it asks you to look directly at impermanence. It asks you to look directly at craving. It asks you to look directly at the ways you create suffering. This looking can feel uncomfortable, but it is the discomfort of healing, like cleaning a wound. It stings, but it prevents infection. Maya experiences this when she sees her own jealousy. She is embarrassed. She wants to pretend she is above it, but mindful sins reveals it. She feels tightness when a friend succeeds. She feels comparison. She feels lack. Samche says, do not shame it. See it. Jealousy is pain. It is a belief that someone else having joy means you have less. That belief is ignorance, because joy is not a limited resource. Compassion can transform jealousy into appreciation. So Maya practices. When she feels jealousy, she says jealousy is here. Then she tries to wish the friend well. At first it feels fake, but she continues. Over time, her heart becomes less competitive, more spacious. This is wisdom plus compassion. Wisdom sees the false belief. Compassion softens the pain behind it. Maya then notices how gossip works. Gossip gives a temporary feeling of belonging, but it poisons relationships. It trains the mind to judge. Samche says right speech is not about being polite. It is about reducing harm and increasing trust. So Maya experiments. She avoids gossip. When others gossip, she changes the topic or stays silent kindly. At first, she feels awkward. Then she feels clean. Her mind feels less sticky. She realizes that peace is not only meditation. Peace is also how you live. In Buddhism, ethics is not a set of rules to please a judge. Ethics is protection for the mind. When you act in ways that harm others, you cannot rest easily. Your mind knows, even if nobody else knows. When you act with integrity, your mind relaxes. Integrity becomes sleep medicine. Because guilt is heavy, Maya begins to see her life as practice. Washing dishes becomes mindfulness. Driving becomes mindfulness. Speaking becomes practice. Listening becomes practice. Even pain becomes practice. She has a headache one day. Normally she would complain and resist. Now she tries to observe sensation. Pulsing pressure, warmth. She notices the mind adding a second arrow. Why is this happening? This is ruining my day. I cannot handle this. Samche once taught her a teaching about two arrows. Pain is the first arrow. Mental resistance is the second arrow. You cannot always avoid the first arrow, but you can often avoid shooting the second. So she breathes with the headache. She rests. She drinks water. She responds wisely. The headache still hurts, but there is less mental war. This is not resignation. It is skill. Now let us talk about the heart of Buddhist wisdom in a way beginners can hold. Impermanence. Everything changes. This is not a slogan. It is a fact you can observe. Breath in, breath out. Sound arises, sound fades. Emotion rises, emotion falls. Seasons change. Relationships evolve. When you accept impermanence, you stop demanding life to be permanently comfortable. You still care, but you do not cling. Clinging is like gripping sand. The harder you grip, the more it slips. But if you open your palm, you can hold some sand gently. This is what non-attachment means. Not coldness, not distance, but open-handed love. Maya learns this when her friend moves away. She feels sad, but she does not turn the sadness into bitterness. She lets herself feel it. She says thank you for the friendship. She stays connected without demanding permanence. This is a form of awakening. A soft, mature awakening that many people never practice. Samche also teaches about compassion and boundaries. Many beginners think compassion means letting people hurt you, but true compassion includes wisdom. If someone is harmful, you can set boundaries without hatred. You can say no without cruelty. You can protect yourself without becoming hard. Maya uses this with a relative who constantly criticizes her. She stops arguing. She stops trying to win approval. She visits for shorter periods. She speaks calmly. She does not feed the drama. Over time, her inner peace grows. So Buddhism for beginners becomes a map for real relationships. Now I want to share how all these teachings come together at night. Because many of you listen to these long videos to relax and sleep. Night is when the unknown becomes loud. The mind tries to predict. It tries to solve. It tries to control. And it cannot. Samche gives Maya a night practice. He says before sleep, reflect on 3 things. First, what did I do today that was kind? Second, what did I do today that I can learn from without shame? Third, can I forgive myself and others enough to rest? Maya tries it. She remembers a small, kind act, holding a door for a stranger. She remembers a moment she spoke sharply. She acknowledges it. She decides to apologize tomorrow. Then she breathes. She offers kindness to herself. She lies down. She still has thoughts, but she is less trapped by them. This is simple and powerful because it combines X-Midmusens and compassion. Now let me offer you a longer story that weaves everything together. A man named Elias is approaching retirement. He feels anxious about meaning. His work identity has been his anchor. Without it, he feels like a leaf in wind. He begins listening to Buddhist teachings because he cannot sleep. He hears about suffering, unclinging, and thinks, this is describing me. He hears about mindful sins and tries to meditate. At first, he is frustrated. He says, my mind is too busy. But he keeps trying. One day he has a moment. He is sitting in his car before entering his house. He feels anxious. He notices the anxiety sensations. Tight chest, shallow breath. He notices the story too. What if I become useless? What if I am forgotten? What if I wasted my life? Then he remembers the teaching that thoughts are not commands. He breathes. He says to himself, this is fear. Fear is trying to protect me, but I do not need to obey it. He steps out of the car. He walks inside. He greets his partner more warmly. He decides to volunteer at a local food pantry once a week. At the pantry, he meets people who are struggling. He listens. He helps. He feels his heart open. He realizes meaning is not only achievement. Meaning is connection and service and presence. This is compassion transforming destiny. Elias begins to practice generosity. He gives time. He gives attention. He gives patience. These are Buddhist practices that create joy, because generosity loosens the grip of self-centered worry. His sleep improves, not because retirement becomes perfectly secure, but because his heart is engaged in something wholesome. He also begins to speak with his adult children differently. He stops lecturing. He starts listening. He apologizes for old moments of harshness. He does not drown in guilt. He uses remorse as wisdom. His relationships soften. This is karma. Seeds planted now create fruit later. Elias begins to understand that awakening is not escaping life. It is meeting life with clarity and compassion, and that is available to beginners. Now I want to address a misunderstanding that often appears. Some people hear Buddhist ideas and think they must detach from everything. Stop wanting anything. Stop enjoying anything. Become emotionals. That is not the point. The point is to enjoy without grasping, to love without possessing, to live without being owned by craving and fear. A beginner can practice this in small ways. When you eat, notice taste and be grateful. When you finish, do not rush into the next craving. When you hold a loved one's hand, feel it fully without demanding that moment last forever. When you succeed, enjoy it without building your identity on it. When you fail, learn without turning failure into shame. This is the middle way again. Now another beginner question. Do I have to become Buddhist? No, these teachings can be practiced as human skills. Mindfulness, compassion, ethical living, wise understanding. They do not require a label, but they do require sincerity. Sincerity means you actually practice, not just collect ideas, not just watch videos. Practice is what changes the mind. Even 1 minute a day matters, because the mind learns through repetition. Now let us move closer to the core spiritual themes that guide this channel. Awakening, wisdom, karma, compassion, practice, destiny. These are not separate. They are one path seen from different angles. Awakening is seeing clearly that clinging creates suffering. Wisdom is knowing what leads to peace and what leads to pain. Karma is understanding that intention shapes experience. Compassion is the warm force that prevents wisdom from becoming cold. Practice is the daily training that turns teachings into reality. Destiny is the direction your life takes as these habits strengthen. So if you want a plain, simple beginner's start, try this tonight. Sit or lie down. Feel one breath. Notice one thought. Label it gently thought. Return to breath. Then offer one kind phrase to yourself. May I be at ease. May I be patient. Then imagine someone else who is struggling. Offer them the same goodwill. May you be at ease. May you be safe. Then rest. This is simple, and this simplicity is powerful. Now I will share a final section of reflection to help you feel the emotional meaning of all this. Many people come to Buddhism because they are tired. Not just physically tired, spirit tired, tired of chasing, tired of pretending, tired of holding everything together, tired of fighting themselves. Buddhism offers a gentle truth. You can stop fighting so much. You can learn to befriend your mind. You can learn to hold pain with compassion. You can learn to let go of what is not needed. You can learn to live with an open hand. When beginners hear this, they often feel a quiet grief. Grief for all the years spent in mental struggle. If you feel that grief, please do not push it away. Grief can be a doorway to tenderness. Tenderness is not weakness. Tenderness is the heart becoming honest. I have seen people change in small, steady ways through these teachings. A friend who used to explode with anger now pauses and breathes. A relative who used to drown in anxiety now names fear and returns to the present. A neighbor who felt lonely now practices loving kindness and finds connection. These changes are not dramatic on the surface, but they change the whole flavor of life. If you are listening and thinking, "I am too far gone," please remember the path begins exactly where you are. The mind is trainable. The heart is soft and able. Wisdom can grow at any age. And if you are thinking, "I have tried meditation and failed," please remember noticing wandering is not failure. Noticing wandering is the practice. Each return is a small awakening. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you have your own beginner story about how you found a little more peace or how you are learning to let go, I would love to hear it. Share your experience in the comments so others feel less alone. If this video helped you, please subscribe and like and comment to support the channel. And if you want to support the work more deeply, consider becoming a member so we can keep making long, calm teachings that you can return to whenever life feels heavy.